do you actually know when your cat is mad at you? Most people don't, and that's the problem. Because cats don't yell, they don't slam doors, they don't give you the silent treatment the way a human would. They do something worse, they show you. In ways so subtle, so quiet, that most owners walk right past the signs every single day thinking everything is fine. But it's not fine. And by the time you finally notice, the damage to your bond might already be deeper than you think. Here are 7 things your cat does when they're secretly mad at you. And once you see them, you'll never miss them again. 1. They stop greeting you at the door. Think back. When you first got your cat, or even a few months ago, what happened when you came home? Did they show up? Maybe they walked toward you. Maybe they sat in the hallway watching you come in. Maybe they meowed once just to let you know they noticed. Now think about recently, are they still doing that? If your cat used to greet you and suddenly stopped, most owners assume the cat just got used to the routine. They think their cat grew out of it. But cats don't grow out of bonding behaviors. They stop performing them when something shifts. A study published in PLOS1 found that cats display distinct behavioral changes based on how long their owner has been away, and more importantly, based on the quality of recent interactions. Cats whose owners had been less attentive or had disrupted their routine showed fewer greeting behaviors when the owner returned. That means your cat didn't stop caring that you came home. They stopped showing it. And there's a massive difference between those two things. When a cat pulls back their greeting, it's not laziness, it's withdrawal. It's your cat saying, "Something changed between us and I don't feel like pretending it didn't." And if that one surprised you, then wait until we get to the last sign on this list. Because there's one thing your cat does when they're truly upset that looks like absolutely nothing. And it's the one most owners never catch until it's almost too late. 2. They knock things off surfaces right in front of you. You've seen it. Your cat walks across the counter, looks directly at you, and pushes your glass right off the edge. Or your phone. Or that pen you were using. Most people think their cat is being playful. Some think they're just clumsy. A few get genuinely annoyed and yell. But here's what's actually happening. Your cat is trying to get a reaction out of you. And the reason they need a reaction is because they feel like they're not getting one. Cats are masters of cause and effect. They learn fast what gets your attention and what doesn't. A 2021 study from the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that cats who felt understimulated or emotionally disconnected from their owners were significantly more likely to engage in attention-seeking behaviors, including knocking objects off elevated surfaces. That means this isn't mischief. This is communication. Your cat tried the quiet route. They sat near you, they stared at you, they maybe even meowed, and none of it worked. So they escalated. Not because they're bad, say because they're frustrated. And the thing they're frustrated about is you. Think about that the next time a cup hits the floor. Your cat didn't break something. They sent a message. The question is whether you're going to hear it or just clean it up and move on. 3. They groom themselves right after you touch them. This one hurts. But you need to hear it. Have you ever petted your cat and then watched them immediately start licking the exact spot you just touched? Most owners don't think twice about it. They assume their cat is just being a cat. Grooming is normal, right? It is normal. But the timing matters. Everything with cats is about timing. When your cat grooms the spot you just touched, right after you touched it, they're doing what behaviorists call displacement grooming. It's a self-soothing behavior triggered by mild stress or discomfort. And in this context, the source of that stress was your touch. That doesn't mean your cat hates you, but it does mean something about that interaction bothered them. Maybe you petted too hard. Maybe you touched a spot they didn't want touched. Maybe they just weren't in the mood and you didn't ask first. A study from the University of Lincoln found that cats who were touched in areas they didn't prefer, especially the belly and base of the tail, showed increased grooming behavior immediately afterward. The grooming wasn't random. It was a direct response to being touched in a way they didn't enjoy. Here's why this matters. If you keep petting your cat the same way and they keep grooming right after, you're not bonding. You're creating a cycle of low-level irritation that your cat is quietly managing on their own without ever telling you to stop. They're not being dramatic, they're being patient. But that patience has a limit. And hey, if you're starting to realize your cat might have been telling you things you weren't hearing, hit like and subscribe. This is the kind of stuff most cat owners go years without ever learning. 4. They turn their back to you on purpose. Wasn't you ever walked into a room and your cat was sitting there, facing the wall or looking out the window, and when you sat down, they didn't turn around? Not even a glance? Most owners think nothing of it. Cats being a cat, independent, doing their own thing. But what if your cat is fully aware you're there and is choosing not to acknowledge you? Cats are not oblivious animals. They hear you coming from 3 rooms away. They know the sound of your footsteps versus anyone else's. So when you enter a room and your cat doesn't turn around, that's not an accident. That's a decision. In feline body language, turning your back is a controlled signal. Among cats, it can mean one of 2 things. Either total trust, meaning they feel safe enough not to watch you, or deliberate disengagement, meaning they're choosing to remove you from their attention. The difference is in the context. If your cat turns their back to you while relaxed, purring, or kneading, that's trust. But if they turn their back after you've scolded them, ignored them, disrupted their space, or changed something in their routine, that's withdrawal. Researchers studying feline social dynamics have observed that cats in colonies use body orientation as a communication tool. A cat facing away from another cat after a conflict is the feline version of walking out of an argument. Your cat isn't being rude. They're managing their emotions the only way they know how. They're saying, I need space from you right now. And the best thing you can do in that moment is respect it. 5. They stop using their favorite spot near you. Does your cat have a spot? That one place on the couch, the bed, the chair next to your desk where they always curl up? The place that's basically theirs? Now think about this. Have they stopped using it? If your cat suddenly abandons the spot they always chose to be near you, that's not random. That's one of the clearest signs something is wrong between you two. Cats are creatures of extreme habit. They pick their spots based on comfort, safety, temperature, and most importantly, what's proximity to the people they feel connected to. When your cat chose that corner of the couch next to you every single evening, that wasn't convenience. That was a choice to be near you. So when they stop making that choice, pay attention. A study published in the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery found that changes in a cat's spatial behavior, specifically their proximity to their owner, were reliable indicators of emotional or physical distress. Cats who felt secure and bonded spent more time in shared spaces. Cats who were stressed, unwell, or experiencing tension in the relationship moved to more isolated locations. Your cat might now be sleeping in the spare room, or on the floor instead of the bed, or behind the couch instead of on it. They're not just finding a new spot, they're putting distance between you and them. And the worst part is most owners interpret this as their cat being independent. They say, oh, yeah, he just likes that spot now. But your cat didn't just find a better spot. They left the one that had you in it. 6. They eat but won't eat in front of you. Here's a subtle one that almost nobody catches. Your cat's food bowl is still getting empty. They're eating, but have you noticed that they wait until you leave the room? Or they eat at night when you're asleep? Or they approach the bowl, see you watching, and walk away? If your cat is avoiding eating in your presence, something has shifted. Eating is one of the most vulnerable activities a cat can do. In the wild, a cat that's eating is a cat that's distracted, head down, senses focused on food instead of threats. That's why where and when a cat eats says a lot about how safe they feel. Research from the University of Bristol found that cats who experienced environmental stress, including tension with their owners, often altered their feeding patterns. They didn't stop eating entirely. They changed when and where they ate to avoid the perceived source of stress. That means if your cat waits for you to leave before they eat, they're not being quirky. They don't feel safe enough to be vulnerable around you right now. And this doesn't mean you've done something terrible. It could be as simple as you accidentally startled them near their bowl once, or moved their food to a spot they don't feel secure in, or raised your voice nearby while they were eating. But to your cat, that registered, and now they're adjusting. The fix is simple. Don't watch them eat, don't stand near their bowl. Give them space during meals and let them rebuild that sense of safety at their own pace. 7. They sit in the same room but won't come close. Remember earlier when I said, there's one thing your cat does when they're truly upset that looks like absolutely nothing? This is it. And it's the one that should hit the hardest. Your cat is in the room with you. They're awake. They can see you, but they won't come close. They're not on the other side of the house. They're not hiding. They're right there, just out of reach, watching you from a distance with no intention of closing the gap. Most owners see this and think everything is fine. The cat is in the room. They're nearby. What's the problem? The problem is what's missing. A cat who is bonded and content doesn't just share a room with you. They close the distance. They sit on your lap. They press against your leg. They curl up next to you. The proximity is the whole point, but a cat who is upset, a cat who feels disconnected, hurt, or frustrated, does something different. They maintain presence without closeness. They stay near enough to keep tabs on you, but far enough to protect themselves emotionally. Behavioral researchers describe this as a form of insecure attachment. It's when the cat still wants to be near their person, but doesn't feel safe enough to be vulnerable with them. They haven't left. They haven't given up. But they've pulled back to a distance that feels manageable. And that distance, that 3 feet between you on the couch, that gap between the chair and the bed, that space your cat is deliberately maintaining might be the loudest thing they've ever said to you. They're not ignoring you. They're waiting. Waiting to see if things get better. Waiting to see if you notice. Waiting for a reason to close the gap again. And the fact that they're still in the room, that they haven't disappeared entirely, means the door is still open. But only if you see it. And only if you walk through it before your cat decides it's not worth leaving open anymore.